Royal Mail have announced that they are looking to make up to 6,000 workers redundant by August next year in an attempt to lose up to 10,000 workers in total, blaming strike action and business losses as the reason. Royal Mail's chief executive, Simon Thompson, said, "This is a very sad day. I regret that we are announcing these job losses. We will do all we can to avoid compulsory redundancies and support everyone affected." This comes as the company announced that it expects its full year losses to hit £350 million. Mr. Thompson goes on to say, "Each strike day weakens our financial situation. The CWU's decision to choose damaging strike action over resolution regrettably increases the risk of further headcount reductions." However, the CWU's General Secretary Dave Ward has said this announcement is holding postal workers to ransom for taking legal industrial action against a business approach that is not in the interest of workers, customers, or the future of Royal Mail. This is no way to build a company. Curtis, thoughts?
It's just simple gaslighting, putting the problems on the striking workers. Look, it's funny how it's the fault of striking workers that the Royal Mail is losing profits. Mm-hmm. But are they cutting their pay? Is the CEO cutting his pay to cover the redundancy costs? Of course he's not going to do that. It's disgusting tactics from Royal Mail, but of course they're going to do that. Now, what is causing this? Well, okay, so I've ordered a few things online, and by the way, the Royal Mail has taken a while to deliver some of the parcels, and I'll check like the days, because it will say like, okay, on these certain days, that's when strike action's happening. Of course, if that's the reason why there's delayed posts, sound, I don't care, all for it, up the workers, right? But a lot of times my post has been delayed when it's not been days when workers are striking. So maybe it's just that the Royal Mail, like as a company, is just crap.
Well, the thing is, people are sending less post nowadays. I can't remember what the statistic was, but it said 20 years ago they were sending tens of millions of posts every year, and now they're sending less than 10 million posts and packages every year. So obviously, like, demand has lessened, so their losses are also going to see losses.
Has it though? Because there's people ordering online, so it might not be less. It's just be postage,
right? How many companies do you order from that use Royal Mail? Most will use a courier, like DPD or Every or whatever. Not to say that those companies,
crap, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Not to say that those companies are any better, but quite a lot of the bigger companies now use couriers that don't necessarily use Royal Mail. So naturally, I think the company is going to see losses, and quite often when that happens, the people are the first thing to go. Yeah. Doesn't make it right, but that's obviously what. Well, that's the approach that they're taking. Yeah, so and then they're also saying, they're also saying that the strikes are costing them more and more money every time there is one, and then it's just all adding up. They're going to have to cut jobs.
So going back to the sort of original point I was trying to make, is that it's not striking workers that is doing this, right? Mm-hmm. Royal Mail could end this dispute, bang, just like that, in seconds, by saying, all right, then we are going to pay you fairly.
Yeah.
It's their greed and their refusal to budge on anything which is causing striking workers to ask for a fair day's pay for a fair day's work.
But then they're trying to turn it around on them and say, of course they don't want to come to a resolution. Well, clearly neither do you, otherwise you'd have done it by now.
Exactly. They won't get around the table and negotiate. They just want to... it's the tactics of strike breaking. They just want to draw it out as long as possible. Then obviously blame the striking workers, and hopefully the striking workers will give up. Now, not only do we know that big companies, especially like Royal Mail, don't give a shit about the workers, because they obviously don't, but they clearly don't care about their customers as well, because customers are waiting on packages. Customers are going to get annoyed too.
Yeah.
So surely they want this resolved. All right then, Royal Mail, resolve it now. Okay, you can resolve it now by giving in to the demands, or at least just negotiating with the unions so they can get better working conditions and pay. You can end this now, okay? And guess what? Customers will be happy because your service will resume, and workers will be happy. But they don't care because they're so damn greedy that they will allow this to go on. They will allow it to go on. And by the way, you're right. Whenever there's profit losses in any companies, right, it's always the workers who bear the brunt of it. Never about the profits for the shareholders or the CEO pay. That never goes down. So when this is how businesses work, right? They will socialize the losses, but they'll capitalize the profits. So when a company does well, okay, well, guess what? the profits go to the top. The workers don't get a share of that wealth. You might get a little thank you. If you work in sales or retail, you might get a little gift card here and then, or a pat on the back. But you won't actually share those profits. The workers won't actually get any money for it, right? Okay, fine. If you want to do it like that, then be consistent. So when the company makes losses, do they say, all right, then we're not going to socialize the losses because just how when we make profits, the workers don't get the fruits of their labor? No, they'll socialize the losses. When they say we haven't made enough money, your job's going to go, your pay's going to get cut, we're going to restrict certain services. So how is that fair? How is it fair that companies can treat workers like crap when the profits are down, but then not reward them when profits are up? And this is how it always works. And Royal Mail doing the exact same thing, gaslighting the workers.
So
it's disgusting.
True. In the interest of fairness and a fair debate, some of the newly announced planned strikes over the next couple of months fall on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Obviously, huge dates in the calendar for companies coming up to Christmas. Many critics of the strikes will say, as they did with train strikes, and I suppose as they do with the climate protests, that it's punishing everyday people and small businesses. It's coming after, working people rather than the big bosses. Do you agree? Is it the right decision to strike
Absolutely.
on those big days when it is going to affect everyday people? It is going to affect small businesses.
Striking workers are
on
everyday
Royal Mail.
people. I love
Very
that.
true.
And when they say about when there's the railway strikers, the public are going to suffer. Aren't these people the public? These aren't just some entity. They are everyday people too. The same wants and needs as everybody else. But what's more important? You getting a package delivered, a thing, a material possession, or someone's life changing it through their pay packet or better conditions? If you care more about your parcel getting delivered than striking workers, you've got the wrong priorities. Okay, so and they should be targeting that. There's no union representation in retail, and I wish there was. And I tell you what, if there was union representation, they should be absolutely targeting these specific dates. Black Friday, definitely strike on that days, because guess what? They're going to be, oh my God, this is like where we make most of our profits, or a lot of our profits. We better do something about it. That's the whole point of striking, to disrupt. I would say striking workers, do it on Boxing Day, do it on the days where it hits the wallets of the rich the most. So I absolutely right taxes from Royal Mail. I don't know how anyone could really disagree with that. Of course,
I get you.
We all get inconvenience when there's less trains, but again, that is the fault of the companies, because the companies don't care about the workers, but they also don't care about the customers. If they were to get around the table and resolve these disputes, then guess what? Trains will come back, or your delivery service will resume as normal. Not only will they resume as normal, but the worker who's delivering your parcel will be happier and will have a better wage. Everyone wins. Only person that loses is the CEOs taking a little bit of a cut from their profits.
Yeah, 100%. And in a cost of living crisis, in the current financial situation, we should all be fighting for others to have fair pay. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me if Bob next door gets a pay rise, but I don't want neighbours, friends, other people to have to suffer. I don't want to see homeless people on the streets and things like that. We need to ask these big companies to be standing up and doing better for that.
Well, we shouldn't be asking them. We should be taking
demanding.
It from them. Well, we should be, shouldn't we?
And that's why the strike action happens.
Well, is what Mick Lynch said. I think it's so good the way he said it. If you don't strike, if you're not in a union, you're begging for a pay rise. Every single time you go to your boss and say, "Look, I think I need more money. Please, I need the cost of living crisis, but also I think the value I'm putting in, I deserve more." Yeah,
we shouldn't just get pay rises when there's an economic crisis like now. We should be getting pay rises based on our merit and based on what we as workers add to a company. Yeah. And quite often, the workers at the bottom are the ones that get the least out of.
But the point I was trying to make though is that even if you were to ask, that is begging, because there's no equal power dynamic here. It's I think I should I want more money. Okay, I want more money. It's an expensive world out there. And the boss has no obligation to give you anything. He can say, yeah, no, sorry. So that's not an equal power dynamic. And the unions are there to try and at least balance that. We need to stop asking and begging. We need to take it, demand it. And good for CW. Up the workers.